example, if you don't, even if you got a business, the amount of grinding you got to do just to get one fucking car, it eats up your entire fucking bank account. Like, my goodness. And they just get more and more expensive as time goes on. Yeah, these fucking cars are expensive as shit. And just getting one of them, well, guess what that grinding you gotta do all over again just to get another one. I said that's like, I forgot how many in-game hours they were saying that it was, but it was an unbelievable amount of hours that I just cannot be dedicated to.
I mean, the thing about it, that's the whole point of it, though.
I guess, but like, do they have to increase like even more in price? Because it's not like you got millions upon millions upon millions. Like, I mean, even if you want to stack it up, eventually at some point I have to stop stacking up my money so I can purchase this thing, which is going to take the money away from me. Now I have to grind some more, which is fine, but like I'm grinding for something even more than that. It's even more than the thing I just bought. Like, for example, if I buy something that's 2 million and like 500,000. Then like the next car up is like $4 million. I have to go and get another 4 million, and then depending upon your methods of doing it, not to mention like how many missions are in this game? There's a shit ton of things that you can do to get money. Now, how many things are effective strategies in terms of how quickly you get that money? Because it's all about how quickly you get it. All right, the process of it is boring. It's like, and I understand the point of a grind, but the process is so slow. It's just doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again with no kind of like excitement to it. And I mean, like even in life, this every now and again you get some kind of spark. You know what I mean? That gets you to keep grinding. You know what I mean? Other than just like your natural day to day, things that you have to get done. You get a spark. Yeah. There's no spark in Grand Theft Auto. Is the thing. So to grind for $4 million after you just spent like $2,500,000, you kind of get a little bit demoralized, and you kind of just like, I'm done. So.
But the thing about it is, you want to be the person that say that I got that. That's the thing, though.
Well, see, here's the thing about that. I can counter that with the thing of they have shark cards. They can pay for that shit to mitigate that. But see, if you pay for it, all that grinding seems pointless. Yes, but you get the car. You get the end goal. You get the car and you don't waste your time. I hit my mic. I apologize for that.
But the thing about it is but the only problem with that is you wasted money for something that you could actually grind a couple of hours to get though. I mean,
a couple of hours. You looking? It's a little bit more than a couple of hours. Like if you're starting from like zero. If we're talking about you starting from zero, it's more than a couple of hours. Even with that VIP thing and the CEO stuff and all that, it's more than a couple of hours.
If you have a good method, like me, I could make probably, I could probably make $30 million in the span of 2 days.
2 days.
Personally, in 2 days, that's $30 million in 2 days if I really wanted to.
Now, is that you playing this thing for all 12 hours of the day and all 12 hours of the night? Like, how would that work in terms of shift-wise?
It'd be all 12 hours of the day. But the thing about it, I will say this though, to counter that, there are particular businesses in 2 days, you can actually get that car within a span of, I probably want to say, depending on the businesses that you have, how everything is set up, you could get that car the very next day, depending on what businesses you actually focus on, because certain businesses that you actually should be attacking, that's going to be a lot more beneficial, would be gun running, maybe nightclub, because that's a cool man right there. That's already half of it. That's only half of it that you ain't got to put much effort into.
I don't know too much about the nightclub though.
Huh?
I don't know too much about the nightclub though.
The nightclub ain't hard. It's just that's money you can get periodically. I mean, if you're not by yourself, you really ain't gotta put much effort into the nightclub.
Just like, I understand if you ain't got nothing to do, but like to spend an entire day on it doing the same thing, I mean, because like, and you could argue with games everywhere. Of course, you do the same thing. It's just about making that repetition fun. You know what I mean? Like, it's a fun repetition that it needs to be. When you start to realize that it's a repetition, you realize it's a grind. Then you start to realize, is this grind fun? That's when you start to ask that question. Now, after you ask that question, am I willing to do this grind? And obviously that varies from person to person, okay? Can they do this grind? Yes or no? For majority of people, probably not. Because it's not worth it to get the car. Especially when the end result is the car, and the car is practically the same as the next car in terms of engine, in terms of performance. Maybe it's going to be better than like the first generation, but a lot of cars are better than the first generation cars. That was like years ago. So even when you get the cars, they're practically the same. There's really no difference to them. Some are electric, some are gas. Some engines are a little bit different. Some are significantly faster than others. It's not that big of a difference. Like, I can understand that the reward was like this like car that's like amazing. Like, I would say probably the most impressive thing that you can get is probably the Oppressor. I heard that shit is toxic as fuck. You can be hella toxic with that. So that's like that car, that vehicle alone, I would say is worth a grind maybe, but I don't know how much that is. I haven't really looked. You could probably confirm that for me, but I don't know how much that is. But I would say that's the only vehicle that I would say is maybe worth a grind, just because of the meta right now in terms of GTA Online and going up against other people and stuff. Especially that way you can have a steady foot. Especially since this game is not all that casual friendly either, in terms of like being a beginner and then trying to come up through the ranks. This game is not all that friendly to it. You know how we used to do it, where it's just us two in a session because you would drop your connection low and then nobody else would be able to join? Well, you got to think about it from other people's perspective. They can't do that. They don't know how to do that. So they have to deal with other people, saying maybe coming after their supplies and stuff, and then they got to try and get other people to join them. Then people may not join them, and then they really want to do those free mode missions because they're trying to make money. They probably have ambitions in the game and they're trying to get something out of it. But then they constantly have somebody stomping their shit into the ground, so they can't make any progress. So now, what do you have to say about those people, though, in terms of like the casuals, I guess, in that respect?
Well, that's Rockstar's fault.
What'd you say?
That's Rockstar's fault.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. That's partially their. I mean, I would say it's majority their fault because they do encourage. They encourage it. You know what I mean? But even then, I think the rewards for destroying the cargo isn't even worth it either. Like, you don't really get nothing from it. Other than, like, you get something from it, but like you don't get that much money or experience from it either. You do if you decide to do the grind. There's nothing wrong with doing the grind if you want to do it. That's not what I'm saying at all. But like, in terms of like telling somebody else to do it when they may or may not have the patience for that, might not be the best move.
Of course, but the thing about it is that also opens doors for you to actually experience the DLC a whole different way, though.
Yeah.
Because my goodness, there are certain things that are actually locked that you're not able to do because you don't have particular businesses, and sometimes when you actually have certain businesses, you actually unlock the game in a different way now. So now there's weapons that you can actually have access to. There's certain vehicles you have access to. You can get better discounts. I mean, it all depends on what exactly you want to, do. Me personally, I wouldn't mind doing it. That's why I did it, because truthfully, if they can do it, why can't I do it?
True.
Now that'll take down.
Especially since you do get perks with it. Like there are benefits to doing this stuff. My argument on it is the time that it takes to get the rewards that are not worth it. That's what I'm arguing. I'm not saying that there's no benefits that you can't reap from owning a business, from owning these businesses and stuff and doing the games. There's fun to be had from that. It's just the amount of time, if you're trying to work towards something like that and you don't have your method of doing it, because your method is honestly, to my knowledge, your method is foolproof, because the only one who can stop you is you in the game. The game can stop you in a multitude of ways just because it's RNG based and sometimes heavily scripted. And especially if you don't have help. But like, I would say your method is probably the best method, because you don't have anybody who interrupts you. You don't have anybody to attack your stuff when you're doing it. But in terms of everybody else, they have to deal with other people possibly coming up and and destroying their all their stuff that they need. And then I also heard that when you do those car missions, if you were to lose a car or something like that, then you have to go back. Like, you would have to confirm this for me, because I know that you've done it. You've done all the information for all that. But like, if you lose a car or something like that, you have to go back and start all the way over with that process of it. Like, clear me up on that though, because that sounds like that's a problem.
You're talking about the, I want to say, import exports.
I think so, yeah.
You're talking about selling a car and you lose it?
Yeah, like when you have to drive the car to a location, possibly, I think, and then if you happen to lose, like if the car ends up getting destroyed or something like that, you end up having like to reset. It gets all reset and you have to go back to that process again.
I mean, truthfully, it depends. Certain businesses, if you were to actually have something destroyed, you can always leave. Like, if you up and close the application, you can always come back to it, and you'll get like a small portion. But the only thing about that is that's only with your ongoing businesses. That's like your MC clubhouses with the drugs, that's gun running. Those, yeah, you can do that because that's a constant running business. That's supplies being put into profit. To where you're talking about the honest or felony version of it, where you actually have to go out and get the shit and store it, to where you just can't, say somebody attack your car, so, that's pretty much it. I mean, if the buyer wants to, have a full set, it's got to be everything. It's either all or nothing. So if something gets destroyed, then the mission is over. And some of the missions are actually like that. I mean, you could probably get by with probably half the shipment if you're lucky, but 9 times out of 10, if it's not like those ongoing businesses, there is no continuation. Once it's destroyed and the customer wants all or nothing, that's pretty much it. And whatever got destroyed, you don't get it back. You can leave the session and come back, but that's pretty much it. There is no coming back from that. And that's a downside with that business, but that kind of stuff happens.
And how much do you lose in terms of like product for that? Or does that number like vary at all?
I mean, if it's an ongoing business, you don't lose that much. You probably lose like a little bit. But if it's something like finance and felonies, I'm guessing that's pretty much all of it, or whatever didn't get destroyed, which is going to be a large sum of it.
And that's just between like possibly one car or whatever? Because like because I'm assuming they're going to only set you up with one car, because I understand that other areas of like, I don't know, any of those warehouse portions, they sometimes have, if you're just by yourself doing the CEO stuff or whatever, you can end up with like multiple vehicles that you have to deliver product from. Is that the same thing with the cars as well?
It depends. I mean, like, if you get 3, like, so I'm gonna do it like this. If you get 3 of those buses, like those, often those big, large vehicles are, I mean, you can probably get those. You probably got to go to a particular location, or you have to do multiple runs. I mean, it depends. Sometimes you can have all the vehicles go to one particular spot and not be it, or you may have them go to a particular spot and you might get ambushed. That stuff happens, whether it's even in the planes.
Those are 2 different mission types? Are those the only 2 different mission types of that variation?
I mean, there's different variations of the mission, but it depends on how merciful the game wants to be. Sometimes the game can just completely fuck you and give you a mission that you can't do by yourself. And there are some missions for every business that you can't do by yourself. Like for instance, if you were to actually try to do the I'm trying to think what mission it is. If you have the Titan, if you have a full large warehouse for the finance of felony, I'm talking about this is $2.2 million full warehouse, and you get stuck on that mission when you have to drive the Titan, you're better off trying to just stop it there and then. Don't even continue it, because at that point you're not going to make it. Because I attempted to actually do that and I failed every time. There's no way you're gonna get by on that mission. That is an automatic failure. That's the kind of mission you just have to just say, you know what, fuck it, just hope you get a different one. And you only lose you only lose 3 bundles, so it'll be like you can quickly just run a quick, one time for the one time, get your 3 crates, and you just go right back at it. As long as it doesn't get destroyed, you're fine. You'll get, they'll take, there's a small penalty for quitting, but it's better off facing the penalty than it to be destroyed, because then you completely lost a lot if it's destroyed.
So there was the solution to that would just be to close the app then, instead of letting it get destroyed then.
Pretty much, because certain missions will fuck you over, and that's the biggest one out of all of them. It's just having that Titan and you getting chased down by buzzards. You gotta have people for that.
I don't think I've even done that one with you either.
Like I said, that's by yourself. I mean, that's supposed to be with somebody else. I mean, there are special missions. If you have a teammate or there's certain, if you have like a full crew, there are special missions that you get hit with.
Benefits.
It's complicated.
It is.
Huh?
It is. It's very complicated.
Listen, it ain't nothing wrong with you having a business. I mean, of course, you're gonna have your little side hustle. Like I say, if you want to actually do, like I said, that's if you got the patience. Like I said, you was right. If you got the patience to actually put up with it, I mean, yeah. And, like I said, it can be something to do. I say, if you want to run a mission, if you're not by yourself and everything, why not? Go ahead, get your business started. Just get used to it. Because you never know. You'll make a lot more with the business than you would running missions. Who wouldn't mind being their own boss?
I can't see myself doing it, just as like all those things, like just the amount of time it takes. I mean, I guess around this time frame when you have to be inside all the time, I guess you could say that the whole social distancing thing, this is probably the best time to do that. Kind of have a goal and then just trying to make that goal. And just, I don't know whether it be, I would say don't make the goal so much how much money, like, try to make a shit ton of money, because you're gonna make a shit ton of money regardless because of the business. It's gonna make money for you, and then you just do the actions and stuff. It's just the issue is just the time and the rewards. I just don't feel like they're all worth it. Like, there are some benefits to it and some long-term benefits to it. Like, I mean, no one's gonna argue that they're mad about the fact that they have $1 million in their account. All right, no one's gonna be mad about that. You can't really be mad about that, because that's $1 million that you can spend however you like. It's the amount of time and what you have as your options of spending that money on. Are they worth all that time that it takes? In my opinion, I would say no. I would say that because like usually how I make the money that I make is I just randomly get on the game and then I hop on with spread, and then I make my money then, and that's a cumulative of like visits that we do on the weekends. It's not even like a thing of where I'm playing every day. Like, I'm not even playing every single day. This is me not spending my money. That's it. So, but ultimately I don't feel like it's worth it.